and I don't sin. And he said, well, there's one more thing that you need to do is sell everything that you own, give it to the poor, and then come and follow me. And
but that's like saying if you give up everything, you gain everything. That's what it's saying. Benjamin, how would you define communication?
How do you gain everything from giving up? Hang on a second, how do you gain everything from giving up? Like the old woman.
It's an inversion, meaning you have to have an organization.
Let me finish talking, sweetheart. The old woman who gave Jesus her last penny or whatever it was, and he took it and he said, great is she because she's given everything to me. Well, if that's all she had, why did he take it? If he's God, what does he need with that?
Scott, he was just observing. She gave it. God didn't take it from her. She willingly gave it, and it was just a lesson.
But then Jesus says, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, give to God what is God's. Do you know what I mean? It's like total hypocrisy.
You have to take it in context. Like when he said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, they were asking him, whose money is this? The Jews were trying to trick Jesus into saying something wrong, and he told them that render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's.
Yeah. So that penny.
It's like the first example that you gave, and he told the rich man to sell everything, is because he knew his heart that he wouldn't do that because he loved his riches more than he loved God. He's doing that to point something out to him.
Well, would you sell everything that you had to follow Jesus?
That's not my weakness. That's not what Jesus wants us to do. You're missing the point. You're really taking it out of context.
What I'm saying to you is, if that requirement is needed to be accepted into the kingdom of heaven, why is every Christian not doing it? And it's because we know that they would never do it.
Okay, you're taking it too literally, Enigma. There are these things called metaphors. Not everything is actually literal. You're taking it so literal, and you're wasting our time.
How is it literal?
You're taking
the guy who was following Jesus' laws and keeping the commandments and doing all the right things. Why then, instead of Jesus saying, well, thank you for doing that.
Well, what do you know about personal development and self-improvement, Enigma? How does one improve oneself if not through information? I'm not getting angry. I'm just talking the way you're talking. Are you getting angry?
And it just proves to me that you're not a real Christian.
I'm not trying to prove to you that I'm a real Christian. I'm trying to debate your all or nothing position.
And when you call on Jesus on the last day, Lord, Lord, he was taken away from me, for I never knew you, because you never sold everything and gave it to the poor.
Is that really true? You sure about that one, Enigma?
When the Jews asked Peter on the day of Pentecost when he was preaching, what must we do to be saved? He did not say that all to themselves what they had. What he told them is to repent and be baptized.
So why add different stipulations for different people?
Because you're taking it out of context.
It's not one size fits all.
No, it's because it's out of context and you miss the lesson.
How do you get to God? How do you get
through wisdom, obviously. Through books, obviously. Through information, obviously. Duh!
Obviously, you follow a book
of First of all, you have to hear the word.
Are not consistent, and the contradictions that are in the Bible. It's unreal.
Really? Yeah.
No, it's because they are there.
Probably don't know this what you hear. There's my son and
There's no contradiction.
that's probably
How was that winning? I tried to look my accent.
Okay, what's the dance?
Well, we don't have Donald Trump now.
I know, that's why you guys are in such dire straits, man.
Trump's a real economy with these trade deals. Listen, I'm telling you, this is going to be the downfall of America.
I'm telling you, I agree. I'm talking about America. I'm going to repeat what the news says and act like I'm an expert because they told me Joe Biden had all of his faculties and they also told me that the COVID vaccine was safe and effective.
Now that's just rude, Doctor. Enigma doesn't want to talk like that. She was conditioned to talk like that. She was programmed to sound this way.
You can't have a decent conversation with people because they're imbeciles. They're children. This is what children do. They mock other people.
Welcome to Saturday night on Clown House, where we can ask a theist a question. Do you have anything interesting to ask a theist?
And do you know what? What's funny is that all you deluded people that believe in a magic man.
A magical man? You're right. Jesus was a powerful magician. He managed to resurrect himself from the death of his persecution on the cross. That's powerful magic, isn't it?
Gone in the head, honestly, and you all support the murder of children, killing children who disobey their parents.
Benjamin, it's your turn now. Go ahead, Dr. Benjamin.
Right, that does sound like Benjamin.
You got busted, Enigma. Why don't you just ask a question for a theist?
You believe in this hideous God. The funny thing is, you say there are no contradictions in the Bible. God identifies as a loving
Nobody
God.
ever said that, Enigma. You just said that.
He also identifies as a jealous God. And in the New Testament, in 1 Corinthians, it says love is not jealous. So, there's no contradictions. Come on.
Really? Tosser.
Unfortunately.
Beautiful, lovely.
You little boys who...
So how can you not understand though
Because your
about
lives
God?
are so sad. It's not my fault. It's not my fault you haven't read your Bible.
How can you say that God can't be jealous and loving, but you personally could be that way? You know,
That
there's different
is
facets
its
of.
own standard. Listen, I don't believe in good people.
But the thing is, you're taking a lot of things out of context in order to
How
make
can I take that out of context when it's
Because you're
written?
taking it all over the place. You can't just cherry pick.
What do you mean?
The Bible,
Listen,
in order
it's
to
like
understand the
Jesus.
Bible, it has to be in the context in which it's written.
Okay, so
It's called a book or a chapter.
in the Bible, there are 4 different ways you get to heaven.
No.
All different.
There's 4 different ways to get to heaven. What are the 4 ways, Enigma?
To tell you them.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, for those that believe in Jesus, okay, in John, for the rich man to sell his goods and follow Jesus, to be baptized in the name of Jesus, or to do good deeds in the name of Jesus, which is in Revelation. There are 4 different ways that you get to heaven, and neither of them are consistent.
Well, first of all, you can't earn your way to heaven. And the rich man, that's not what he had to do to get to heaven.
Revelation 20. Oh my God. Oh, sorry. It's 21.
What a fucking waste of time this is. You're like a brain-damaged language monkey.
God.
Fucking tosser.
No.
Stop drinking so much of that British vodka.
And it said that everybody is judged according to their deeds from the book of life.
But you're not really providing us with any intelligent information right now. You're spamming us with your spam, Enigma. All you're doing is spamming us. This is what I call spam. Congratulations on spamming us.
No, darling. What this is teaching you your own doctrine because you're too lazy to read it for yourself.
Oh, all right. When was the last time you started reading the books?
And I just proved it wrong. So go and sit on a fucking needle for all I give a fuck.
All right, well then we've got to the end of your argument, I see. Congratulations on telling us nothing and wasting all our fucking time.
You don't believe in God, otherwise
I don't believe in God. What makes you so presumptuous to think that you know some random voice on the fucking internet doesn't believe in God? You're projecting on me, darling. You're projecting.
And you don't even have that because you're acting like a child.
You are spamming and you are projecting.
You any respect. If you treat people like shit, you're going to get shit back. And that's the thing.
That's right, equal and opposite reaction.
Oh, we're so persecuted, but you're the ones that are persecuting everyone else.
Maybe you're persecuting everybody. Did you ever think about the accusations that you're making are actually reflections of what you believe and what you're saying? It's like a racist criticizing racists, and that racist is the one making the projection about the racists.
Sweetheart, racism doesn't exist.
Racism doesn't exist? Have you been on this app for long?
It doesn't exist.
There's no diversity. It's all metaphysics.
What are you talking about?
He's wasting your time.
In the same way that she's wasting our time. It's my opinion, of course.
An enlightened Taoist who has mastered the Tao and all the other disciplines spirituality. He's far beyond all of it.
Exactly is.
That's a very good, accurate description, Alfonso. I don't think I'm past anyone. I'm literally a comedian here to try to entertain you in the same way that I feel Enigma is entertaining us.
Well, you're not a troll. He's not good enough to be a troll.
Coherent interlocutor. You are an enlightened being who you're just way above us.
Enlightened, so you mean deluded.
I'm just...
He's just in touch with the all. He's far beyond. He's gotten to the limits of the end.
That's not true, Alfonso. If you want me to describe God, I'll just hit my bell.
That's one of his resources to try and touch us at the bottom, at the core.
Alfonso, talk to me emotionally.
Did I hear a bell?
Yeah, it was hell's bells.
Another angel got her wings.
Angel.
Just to remind you, we embrace silence in the Ask the Theist room.
That was a moment of silence. No one ever seen It's a Wonderful World. Isn't that the name of the movie, the Jimmy Stewart movie?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, that's it. It's a Wonderful Life, yeah.
What a beautiful timepiece. I just believe that silence now is the true definition of God, because God should create peace in your life. And if all you do is spam all the time and you never shut up and go into a silent mode, you'll never get the peace that you're looking for because you're just politicizing and spamming all the time. Now that is my opinion and I am complete.
You know,
Now, for me, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is actually the most compelling argument for atheism. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
you know, they're going to have some sort of superiority over others. And unfortunately, the only thing that you prove to everyone is that you're all fucking twats, basically, and hypocrites.
Anyway, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is the most compelling argument for atheism, my friend.
What, the number 42?
Yes.
Have you read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
No, but I've seen the
No,
video.
of course you haven't. You've never read a book
I've
in your
seen
life.
the
Have you?
movie,
You've
and I
never
got
read a
Why
book.
read a book when you can wait for the movie? Come on.
Ah, why read a book?
Yeah, that's
Why
more intellectual.
read the Bible? Just believe what people tell you, because that's the best way to
That's
get
what you do. That's what you do.
No,
You've
I
got
have
bits and
to
pieces
find
and you come
something.
in here
Thank you.
and try and tell us what it says.
Oh, I know what it says because I've actually studied it in depth, along with the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Book of Mormon, the Mahabharata.
The Book of Mormon is so good. Oh.
Yeah, the Book of Mormon's absolutely hilarious. I mean, it wants you to believe that an angel called Moroni, a moron, basically, spoke to a criminal to find
You telling me Joseph Smith was faking that whole hat thing, or he was reading out of the hat? Come on.
Yeah.
So what?
Come on. I mean, he's on the same level as Muhammad. You know, oh, Gabriel spoke to me. Oh, the angel Moroni spoke to me. Isn't it funny that, you know, the angels come and speak, but God used to speak to people, but now he's too much to come down and speak to people. He sends people to do his bidding. I think
I would date a Mormon if she was cute enough.
Hey, honey badger, I'm above you, bro. I'm gonna take a big dump on your head, bro. I'm above you.
Scott, a lot of Mormon women are pretty, and some of the guys, you know, very handsome.
I'm not hot enough to be a Mormon. I would become a Mormon if I were hotter. I don't think I'm hot.
Oh, come on, don't sell yourself short. Don't be silly.
Thank you, Nick. You're very kind.
Everyone is charismatic in their own way, except, you know, the trolls and the rest.
This is an illustrious room. We've had Darth Dawkins. We have several of the elite mod squad from Uncle Steve. Do you ever come to ask Uncle Steve or ask the atheist?
Me and Steve tend to clash, or should I say Steve and I tend to clash.
That is surprising. Steve clashes with me. That's shocking.
Yeah, we clash.
Enigma, you were an Ask the Atheist a couple weeks ago, though.
Yeah, no, I still go in there. I don't, you know, avoid it. But we sometimes clash. And I think it's because we're both very condescending people who love to talk.
Well, yeah, Steve's going blind, bro. That's all he can do. That's why he's atheist. He's pissed off the world, bro. Why would God make me blind? I was the right one. I'm just atheist. I get it.
Well, if God was real, I mean, he could pray and have his blindness removed, couldn't he? Doesn't it say when towards the end?
Not if you're living a secret life of, you know what? A little secret devil life. I can hear it in his voice. You know, he's got a little bit of, I don't know. He's a little zesty, okay? And I like Steve.
Steve will say this. Steve has said multiple times in the room, many times, that he was in the lifestyle, like swinger.
Yes, he was in a lifestyle. I know he was banging dudes, bro. Obviously. I could hear it in his voice he was banging men. So the thing is, it conflicted with his religion because he was Jewish. He is saved in the faith, but obviously he was banging men, so that conflicted with his ideology. Then God made him fucking blind. So he's saying, this guy can't be real. He made me blind, and plus I like guys. So, you know, the Bible isn't real. God is fake. I know.
Are you sure you're not projecting? My gaydar's never gone off with Steve.
Steve has admitted that he lived the lifestyle because Steve admitted that he lived the lifestyle. Steve has admitted that he has lived the lifestyle.
I
don't care. Listen, ma'am, I don't care, but it explains why he. Ma'am, Eugene Enigma, just let me explain really quickly. This explains why a man. Hold on, Enigma, so let me explain. Ma'am, let me explain. So what it is that a fucking man goes on here every day, asks the atheist, because obviously he hates God so much, it's clear, like JCC, that they're missing something in their life. Things didn't work out in their life, so, bitch, would you shut your dumb mouth when I'm talking? It's weird. I am talking. We're adults. Shut your mouth. Shut up for a second while I'm talking. Enigma, I'm trying to finish. You would stop over talking to me. You know what? Every time I catch you fucking talking, I'm gonna overtalk you. How about that? Because that's bullshit. We're adults here. I think you should let me finish, and then we can get this over. Alright? How about that? I don't know how old you are. Adults, they mute up, and they pause when other people are talking. And then that way we can communicate, you know what I mean? That's how that works. That's how this works. Alright, thank you. Well, I was trying to when you kept on over talking. So Steve, because he admitted shut your fucking dumb ass lips up. Did you just hear me? Alright. Steve.
Say what you need to say.
No.
Where's he go?
I put him in the audience.
Oh, no.
He's a shit show. No. So if anybody ever mods me, that's what's gonna fucking happen. I'm gonna remove the trash as soon as I fucking can.
We have the great Jane Rosenzweig in the audience. The great one.
So I was going to ask a question. The belief is that Jesus had the upper hand because he was the Son of God. I guess the question is, what if the same rules apply for all of us?
Republicans, did you ever hear the joke where this Jewish guy goes to his rabbi and says,
Your delivery won't work.
I'm sorry, I was eating a pickle. He says, this Jewish guy comes to his rabbi and says, Rabbi, the strangest thing happened, the worst thing happened. My son left home, comes back home, and he left home and became a Christian. The rabbi says, hey, this happened to me. My son, strangest thing, he left home. He became a Christian. We should both pray to God. So they start praying. God says, the funniest thing happened to me. My son left home. I like that joke. I don't think I had it quite right, but it's something.
I got his lunchbox.
Yeah, I was eating kosher pickles. I think they're kosher. Pickles look kosher by nature, right? I follow this group, this couple on Facebook and Instagram. It's called Moses and Sephora, which is very interesting because Moses' wife was named Sephora. And they are Orthodox influencers. So he's a rabbi, she's an Orthodox woman. They're a good-looking couple. They met and they got married. They dated a long time, months, which is, I think they dated 9 months. But they engaged 9 months before they were married, which is unheard of in the Orthodox community. To not get married fast with that, but for the Orthodox community. But they have this, they're great. They're like Instagram, Facebook, they just answer questions about Orthodox. So if you ever, but it's so great. They're being Moses and Sephora, and that's not a gimmick. They really were named that, just like the original Moses and Sephora. It's pretty great. If you ask Moses and Sephora on Facebook or Instagram, they're pretty amazing. Jane, this was a lively room. Darth Dawkins was here. All sorts of stuff.
Where's Darth Dawkins?
Professional asshole. He's just like such an asshole. And he just argues. He just
That's
yells.
all narrow it down as far as close out.
As far as this out, but that's not an exclusive club.
He's basically the theist version of Uncle Steve.
Oh, God helps.
That's brutal. I don't think I would
No, I think Uncle Steve actually has a much better demeanor than.
John, I sent Jane I said Jane the link to your Airbnb.
Are you gonna book it?
Maybe.
Well, I haven't said the N-word in over 9 years.
That's the Stephen Poe tagline. The N-word is banned in this movie. He hasn't said it in 9 years.
Yeah, so Enigma, just so I don't know if you don't know or you're playing around in chat, because Republican and Dr. whatever his name is are one and the same. So you can hear his explanation, but as soon as he goes off the rails, he's getting kicked.
Wait, not Dr. Wise. Republican and Dr. Wise are not the same.
Oh, yes, they are.
John, you're not Dr. Wise.
No, that's a different guy. He lives in like Wyoming
Yeah,
or
you're
Montana
not
or
the
something.
same guy. No, they're not the
Tell
same
us.
guy.
What if Corletta's right?
Guys, we all are the same guy. We're just dissociated from each other.
I know.
Alfonso, the universe experiencing itself through different creatures. That's you're absolutely right.
I meant comedian.
Yeah, I have seven. I have 7 Clown House accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mistake. I meant comedian, not Dr. Wise.
You're way more than that.
So guys, tonight I discovered this is really interesting. So I was on this dating app called Field, and it's a pretty interesting app. I love it. It's so entertaining. And so I came across this profile. I'm saying, yeah. So this is a woman in my neighborhood. She's 2 miles away, okay? 2 miles away, so very, very close. Her profile is T4D, 31 genderqueer demisexual. Still masking in public spaces and needs saving. I have ongoing mobility issues that mean you may have to come to me. Very tired. ACAB. I didn't know what that meant. I looked it up. It's all cops are bastards. ACAB. Jewish anti-Zionist. And last sentence of the first paragraph. We are very unlikely to fuck. I don't think this is the strongest point, but I mean,
Oh wow.
Why is she
Okay.
like?
So, Republicans guy, I've got 8 of your Clubhouse accounts blocked. So you at least have 8 accounts.
No, those are old accounts. Maybe you got some of the new ones blocked, but I mean that's a you problem.
It is. That's the best way to solve it.
He is running for Congress, and I think it's a noble effort. He's trying to unseat. He's trying to win. Wait, John, your district is heavily Democratic, though.
No, it's like 80% Republican.
Oh, so you're running in a Republican district, but you're running against the incumbent, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any chance of unseating him in this fight?
It's possible, especially with this big beautiful bill. I mean, I have a photo with Ron Paul because I supported Ron Paul when I used to live in Los Angeles back in 2011, I think, 2012. So it's possible that the Republicans are wise to the scam and they're looking for a candidate who believes in fiscal responsibility.
Delusion.
Projection.
If you were
But
back
will you move to Chicago in order to register to participate?
I mean, I'll tell you what, I would be in his office every day. I think if you were my congressman, that would be so
You
entertaining.
can move to where you feel the
Yeah, I'm very happy where I am.
It's best.
But I do think, John, I do think he's kind of what we need, not for ideology, just for personality. I think we could use more of John in the Congress.
Scott, related question. Tell me what you think about Republicans. Did you see any part of the New York mayor debate? For the part where they were asked, where would you go first on the outside the country trip? Did you see that?
No, when was that? What was that debate?
A couple of days ago, I think.
I'll watch the whole thing.
It was described by someone as they were tripping over themselves to say Israel, except the Muslim progressive guy who said, I'm going to stay here in New York City, help the Jews in New York City. It was very, well, it's not a surprise, but it's also such an interesting thing to see play out in New York.
Did you see that Tom Holman is calling out the National Guard in Los Angeles tonight?
Just saw that. Is it true?
Yeah, it's like a civil war.
Do we still have Ready for Turn?
God bless America. Jane, I love your t-shirt, by the way. Just, I resonate with that. I have pajamas with a cap that says, ew, people.
Enigma, if we were to make you Queen God of the Universe and you could do everything you wanted to do, what would you do for we the people?
Republicans, if you had a brain cell, you'd be dangerous, sweetheart. I'm glad that you don't.
Well, neither does AOC, and she's very dangerous, and all she does is create spam every fucking day. So I figure, why not throw my hat in the ring and create all the stupid spam that they create as well, and just criticize them for being fucking low IQ pieces of shit who are putting us all into debt every single fucking day.
Maybe your mother should have kept her legs closed.
Maybe you're projecting your own whore mother onto me.
No, darling. No, sweetie. Please, God.
Somebody kick him?
The trash has got to go.
Cornette is a huge hooter of people. I love that guy. I think he's awesome.
Why?
Because I think he's entertaining. I think he entertained.
How is that entertainment?
Well, if you're looking for, trolling around and someone who's gonna, come in and try to show your lack of connection with the spiritual and with whatever it is that he's feeling, then yes. But if you want to have a serious conversation, don't bring him around. He'll just. I did have one or two interesting conversations, but the thing is, anyone else wants to engage, and I think he's just judgmental, right? He thinks people are beneath him, and
You're projecting, Alfonso.
Really crappy,
Do you feel?
crappy congressman, because
There's a lot of crappy congressmen out there. I'm just joining the party.
That's true. I mean, in Clubhouse,
Do you think there's a hierarchy in this room, Scott? If so, announce it.
what's the hierarchy? What do you mean?
I don't know.
Who are we rating?
Choose top. Choose first. What do you mean? What do I?
Oh yeah, Jews. Yeah, top Jews. Always Jews. Jay, do you want to be mine? And this is top Jew.
Sure. Just doing it to be nice to you, because you always think I'm gonna say no. I won't
Yeah,
say no.
Jane's top Jew. Jane in my book is a top Jew. Top Jew on the app. And Steve Appel, another top Jew. Two of the top Jews on this app.
And I'm an honorary Jew because I'm 18, or what is it, 8% Ashkenazi.
Ah, good.
I wonder how long it's going to take for Benjamin to chime in.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, Jesus.
Benjamin's a bastard. That's different. Got Eitan down there is a big Jew, an Israeli Jew. That's like gourmet Jew.
He's the best Jew in this whole Africa, maybe.
yeah, we love Benjamin.
He's one of the best guys on the
I'm
side.
not joking. I'm not just saying that. I said that.
He's amazing.
So let me ask all the atheists a question. When was the last time you actually read a book?
Why are you doing a British? Oh, because
That's not artists. That's like 1940s.
yeah.
It sounded like Mary Poppins.
It's from My Fair Lady. A-E-O-U.
And this is the kind of
Have you heard AOC? Have you heard AOC? Have you heard Maxine Waters?
I mean, half the Republicans he would be huge improvement over half the Republicans.
Well, but he, or equal leveling.
Where did Jane go? Jane removed herself because she didn't want to be monitored.
Low bar.
I'm just saying, when you read the book of Psalms, when you read Ecclesiastes, does it not touch your soul? Does it not improve your psychology? Does it do nothing for you? Or are you too lazy to actually open a book, flip through the pages, read with comprehension?
I will tell you what does nothing.
We have to teach you what the book says. Sorry, Scott, go on.
I would say the Proverbs does nothing for me. When I read that book, it's all stuff I already know. Like the one that stays out late at night drinking won't be able to get to work early on time. Like I think it's a waste of a book of the Bible. I don't think you need.
Well, let me read you something from Psalms. It says, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. My God will meet all your needs according to his glorious riches in Christ Jesus. Show deep love for each other, for love covers a multitude of sins here on Crown House. This is the last one. It says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails.
He is self-seeking. He wants you to worship him. He's a jealous God.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
I want to ask you a question. So when you ask an atheist, when was the last time they read a book, and then you make Bible references, are you qualifying the book, meaning asking atheists to read the Bible or whatever?
No, there's 100 books you could read. The Bible's one of them. Duh.
Maybe people are atheists because they read the Bible, darling.
Well, that might be the after effect, but I'm still asking whether people read books here.
Yeah, I do read books.
Yeah, books have been
I had to read a lot of books when I was doing my psychology degree. I also read a lot of doctrine when I was doing my religious studies degree.
And what was the big takeaway? What was the compression of all that information?
What was the big takeaway?
Is it peace?
I like reading. I like finding out about different myths and folklore and religion.
Is it love? I'm just saying the fruits of all this wisdom, it's got to be peace and love.
Have you ever heard of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared? It's like what appears to be a children's thing on YouTube, but it's very much for adults. And I think the third one, which is about religion, sums you up to a T, Republicans. So if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. It's called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I think it's the third one.
No, I haven't heard of that. What's it about?
Are you having a stroke?
I might be. I've got a gout flare-up infection in my left foot. I'm in a lot of pain.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't surprise me, being, Republican in America, probably in the Bible Belt, you probably eat yourself to death, and once you've got gout, I'm sorry for you. You probably have diabetes as well, 25,000 chins.
It's a lot of chins. You might say I'm 2-face, 3-face, 4-face, 4-face, 6-face, 7-face, 8-face, 9-face, 10-face.
Republicans, you're actually growing on me, alright? Stop it, you're making me laugh.
I'm like a herpes infection. I transfer myself and I never go away.
Yeah, you are exactly like herpes, you can never get rid of that.
I say that to women. I think that they misunderstand me. I say I want to be like the case of herpes, something that'll be with you for life and you can always count on. And I mean it as romantic, but I think they misunderstand it.
I think they might think that's a bit creepy for a first date.
Yeah.
Do you think think the same viral infection has been floating around since the time of Jesus?
Yeah. But then Jesus was caught in the Garden of Gethsemane with a naked man. He also loved John the most, so maybe Jesus was gay.
Who baptized Jesus?
Oh, his cousin, John, who got his head cut off by,
Is that like a metaphor for an ego death?
sorry?
Alfonso's playing my soundtrack. Sounds amazing. Who played that genius piece? Do you think music is like transcendental meditation?
If the accent you were doing was good, you know, I would laugh and I'd go with that, but it's so bad, it just makes you look like a bit of a dick.
Well, I am bald, and a lot of women tell me that I resemble a 6'3" penis.
Of course you're bored, because Jesus doesn't live in your soul. The Holy Spirit is your comforter, and you're just left pretending to believe in something that you don't actually believe in.
That's just like your opinion or something.
No. It's my psychological evaluation of what I see from you.
Are you sure you're not projecting?
No, because I'm not a believer.
Well, then you are projecting.
No, darling. The only way I'd be projecting was if I was believing myself or saying that I believed and I didn't. But I don't believe.
Well, everyone projects, and all communication is projection.
Yeah. Sadly, your projections are null and void.
So you don't think that music is transcendental?
No.
Then what is transcendent?
Well, you know, I think it's
Comedy, maybe?
It's fantasy, isn't it?
Transcendental is fantasy?
Everything outside of reality is completely and utterly fictitious.
Like the rainbow picture in your background, what does that mean to you?
Well, you know, I'm in their life in the LGBTQ plus community, and it is Pride Month, so I switched up my profile pic.
So the symbol of the rainbow doesn't mean peace, it means same-sex orgasms.
No. The way I
Hey, request. Talk normally or get the fuck out, please.
Oh, it's Saturday night. I've been trying to get kicked for the past 20 minutes, JCC.
There we go.
See, I gave JCC the mod because I thought we needed some order, but it's almost too much order with JCC.
Come on. Okay, you can accuse me of that, but that gets sickening after a while. This person.
I think your fuse is short with the mod.
Yeah, I got a short fucking fuse. Now what? What are you gonna
Because
do?
you don't have a personal relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's right. Jesus Christ and,
Jesus as your Lord and Savior.
That's right. That's why I got a short fucking fuse. Yeah. So
JCC, thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
I'm a fan of the guy, but I
heard on a fellow Jew.
like him. I'm sick of the voice. That's all.
I was kind of enjoying the AI Russell Brand vibe.
But first, I was.
So bad. Well, what do you sound like? I mean, why are you talking like that?
Did you see the interview where did you see one of the interviews where they forgot who they were interviewing and it was Russell Brand? They forgot his name. And then they were talking about him as if he wasn't there, and he totally just schooled them all. It was awesome. I gotta look at.
He is very intellectual.
Oh yeah.
People write him off as just a scruffy weirdo, but he's well read and highly intelligent.
He did kind of go nuts though in the last couple of years.
Yeah, he has, but I think, society probably did that to him, and probably all the...
He became that thing he was pretending to be the whole time.
I'm trying to think, was that the one where they were sitting around like an oval table in a studio, and he leans back in the chair and is just like ripping them to shreds?
It could be that one. It was two ladies and a gentleman, and I forgot what affiliation they were from. But it was,
Yeah, the thing he takes the mickey out of her dress or something, doesn't he? Or something. Or she does to him, I can't remember, and he really takes her to task.
Why do you think he's gone nuts? I mean, in relation or comparison to the past 25 years of what you would call, neoconservatism.
Well, he used to be funny. He's always super smart. I've always been a fan. I like him a lot, but he has sort of joined I don't know.
What, the anti-vax movement?
Yeah, well, that's part of it, for sure. Yeah, he's.
You don't think there's any truth in what he's saying about the COVID-19 vaccines being a scam?
I'm not saying there's no truth to it, but it's mostly untrue.
Mostly untrue. So there's like 10% of it which is true or untrue.
That's charitable, but okay.
Why would the government need to scam you?
Are you serious right now?
All except vaccines.
Why did Kennedy just cancel a $600 million contract with Moderna? It's because we're not voting for this shit. Americans aren't voting for billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in free handouts to buy shit we don't need.
Dude, Republican, you're being funny earlier.
Do you want me to go back to the accent? Because apparently I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't.
Well, so I would prefer the accent. I think it's funny.
You're criticized if you speak. You're criticized if you remain silent. You're criticized if you do anything in this life.
It's a dilemma, right? You're right.
Someone seriously needs to get laid.
It's true. I've got gout in my foot and I can barely fucking walk. I had a date last night I had to cancel.
Cash up you some money so you can get a whore.
Really?
I think he just needs to drink more water.
I know I should probably be drinking more water right now.
Getting gout, that's like the most British thing ever.
Yeah, drink water on your fire blanks.
I don't know what it was. I think it was the 2 beers and the tequila that did it.
God, you're a cheap date.
I'm just waiting for Republican and Big Nick to hook up. I think this is inevitable.
Oh, goodness.
She's part of the lifestyle. What are you talking about?
Oh my god. If you had an OnlyFans account, I would pay big money.
Has anyone here actually purchased content from OnlyFans?
I haven't, but
I've never even been on the website.
I invited John up. I wanted to ask him a local question if he's in Los Angeles. John, are you in Los Angeles or in Ventura?
I'm in Los Angeles County.
For those of you that don't know, Donald Trump has called out 2,000 National Guard because there were ICE raids today and throughout the week, and now there's been a lot of violence. And John, some of it's close to where you live.
Oh, is that right? In Claremont, you mean?
Well, I heard Paramount. Is Claremont close to Paramount? I'm not sure.
Paramount. I don't know where Paramount is. I think it's near Downey or something.
Yeah, well, if any of you are interested, I put
the link in the group chat. Basically, ICE came out. They were doing their thing. There were not only apparently demonstrations arguably that started peaceful, and then they lit a car on fire and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so Karen Bass, Mayor, and Gavin Newsom basically said that they were going to leave them alone and not enforce the ICE raids. And Donald Trump called out 2,000 National Guard, which, by the way, I wasn't aware that the federal administration can call out a statewide National Guard. I checked on ChatGPT, and apparently they can. Sorry, y'all, I didn't mean to derail your conversation.
Yeah, on that last point, I read something about that. I know that people are pushing. That's not the way that's supposed to happen. But of course, it's only to be expected with Donald Trump. So no surprises.
Well,
It's Tom Holman.
Same question. Can commandeer that National Guard, right? I mean, they can always do that. That's
They're federal. They get paid through a federal system. They're controlled by a federal system.
Yeah, but generally they're called out by the governor.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, but the president can always, like Kennedy did it, right? Kennedy called out the National Guard, right, to integrate schools.
Let's see.
This is like a civil war. What do you think about Karen Bass?
I think she's a horrible mayor. That's what I think, for a variety of reasons. Oh, and by the way, in answer to your other question, no, I haven't read a book in years, but I read and write every day for work, 40 hours a week, but I haven't read a book in years.
So you're admitting.
Hey, Uncle Steve, this is public knowledge. You have not used the N-word for 9 years, right?
Over 10, easy, yeah, yes.
So wait, Steve, are you saying that there's a correlation between theists and programming, aka books?
No, but the story that we did on my show this morning was recently national news about how the illiteracy rate is going up, and the watching the tube rate is also going up. Pardon me, literacy is going down, which is the same as illiteracy going up, and watching the screen is going up, and there's a direct correlation to parents reading considerably less to their children. And the stat we used was like 30 years ago, 35% of parents used to consider it fun to read to their children daily. And as of late last year, early this year, 15% of parents consider it fun to read to their children. There's a direct correlation to reading to your kids reading to you, and the literacy rate going down.
Well, I think that's interesting.
It's not fun.
Do you know what the first sentence is in the Bible? I put it in the chat.
Before we get to that, I know that I raised 2 kids, and Daddy, read me a bedtime story when there's nothing left to talk about to your kids, and especially at night when you want to read them to sleep. That's like an old standard, reading to your kids and having your kids read to you. It should be fun if you're really interested in taking care of your kids, but apparently a lot of the Gen Zers not only don't consider it fun, but don't do it.
Well,
I find that sometimes hard. That's scary and bizarre at the same time. It's weird.
I'm sorry, I have a hard time believing exactly what?
I mean, I see a lot of younger parents hanging out with the kids, and they seem to be doing the same things parents always did. So I have a hard time believing that. But
well, when you see them hanging out, do you see them reading to them?
hanging out in their bedrooms when they're going to bed, like that. But they're doing these kinds of things. I see parents always do. So
I was just asking.
Well, what? Yeah. Okay. Just asking questions. Great.
Steve.
I'm actually curious about the last time you said the N-word. Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, well, if you want to know the last time I said it, it was during Boys' Night Out probably about 10 years ago when I was with my dad and my brothers and some of the blood nieces and nephews, and I used the word quietly, and they all looked at me like I was fucking nuts. And ever since then, I've chosen not to use it. There you have it. That's it.
Well, I respect that choice, and I like the rule in your rooms about that. But I've actually used it more recently than that, and I used it in a context where somebody asked me about what someone else said, and it came out, and then some people were like, "Whoa!" I'm like, "What do you mean, whoa?" I'm like, "Oh." Like they asked me what that person said, and I repeated it, and I felt kind of tricked into it. I'm like, I don't think that counts, but whatever.
Yeah, well, except for being in my room, I never tell anybody what they can say and what they don't say. So people want to use it, knock themselves out. But without question, it's the most controversial and challenging word there is. It's arguably it's the only word that I can think of right now where...
It's actually the N word and the F word.
No, it's completely different than the F word, and I'll tell you why. Because...
You foolish nincompoop!
Because if I'm with a group of black people and they're using the word in what they consider to be a positively friendly manner, and I use it exactly the same way, I can get the shit beat out of me simply because of the color of my skin. The F word is not dependent or does not draw a reaction based on the color of someone's skin. The N word is the only word that I know of where, depending on who you are, what the color of your skin is, and how you use it, can draw a completely opposite reaction. So there's no other word in the English language like it.
So going back to words or the word, I mean, the first sentence in the Bible is, in the beginning was the word was with God, and the word was God. So God is technically the word. And so I'm just wondering if one of the reasons why you're an atheist is because your definition of God is not the word.
The answer to that question is no. That's not one of the reasons why I'm an atheist, no.
But how do you address the concept that God is the word?
What is that? Hold on a second. In the beginning was the word. I don't think it's the way the Bible starts. I think that's the way.
Gospel of John.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Reverend Scott. I knew you would know the real answer.
What was that? I didn't hear it.
It's the Gospel of John. John 1:1.
Oh, my bad. But to me, it's an important concept. What that means is that God is floating around amongst us through the word. God is more likely the word than anything else, or words, which in
that's not how the Bible starts.
I get it. You're right. But what I'm saying,
you're up on that now?
Yeah, I hear you.
So let's talk about that. Does a word exist unto itself? Like, is there a word floating around in existence?
No, it's all conceptual. It's all sound vibration.
Great. So then, would God fall in the same category?
Yeah, I would say metaphysically, yes. God is more likely the word than the sky god Jehovah.
Wait, when you say the word, do you mean it exists objectively or just as a concept?
Conceptually, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Which is, I'm okay. I'm comfortable with that.
Why in 1 John did they feel the need to amend the Old Testament and change the way that was worded? It's an honest question. More for Scott.
It's because they're trying to say that the incarnation in Jesus' event is so unique and so foundational. It's parallel to creation, right? That it's new creation basically. So it's evoking that what's going on in the Jesus story is really something that was happening before the beginning of time, and it's the fulfillment of the Hebrew Bible. That's what I think John was thinking.
And elsewhere in the New Testament was Jesus is Has the word, had that been like established as a definition somewhere, or people always told me like, oh, that what that means?
No, I don't think I have to think about it. That's something that's a John move, and that's a John. Most scholars would say is the last gospel written in the canonical gospel. Right? So if you're talking like, let's say Matthew's written around 70 A.D. John is probably, closer to like 100, 110. So it's later, and so yeah, no, it's not an early conception. It's certainly a development. The original disciples that hung out with Jesus wouldn't have used that sort of conception. It seems like.
Hey, John Malincrot, are you there?
I am.
I think you'll like the following. In a statement yesterday, Governor Newsom said, quote, continued chaotic federal sweeps across California to meet an arbitrary arrest quota are as reckless as they are cruel. Donald Trump's chaos is eroding trust, tearing families apart, and undermining the workers and industries that power America's economy. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass accused the ICE of sowing, S-O-W-I-N-G, terror in America's second largest city.
Sowing terror. Yeah, but of course.
Sowing. I assume that means spreading. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's like what you do to a field when you sow a field, right?
In other words, you reap what you sow. Yeah, I was going to say you reap what you sow. Yeah, okay.
That's it. And it's not talking about sweaters or baby stockings. That's knitting, I guess, anyways. You reap what you reap.
Yeah, sorry, y'all. Please go back to your Bible talk.
Hey, I have a question for Scott. I have a question for. I want to ask a theist something. I've been trying to figure out how to say this, but trying to think of an analog to the question that atheists always get asked. And the best I can come up with is, where do my morals come from? Where do my morals come from? That's the question.
Are you asking me where your morals come from?
Yeah. How do you explain my morals? I'd have to do it in kind of a vaguely accusatory fashion. I have to put you on the spot and make you think that this is a real gotcha question, right? This is a gotcha question. Where do my morals?
Well, if you're talking to me, how do you explain it? How do you induce this from how do you get from inductive reasoning to an absolute? Yeah.
We'll start here. By the way,
he was in rare darts. No, John, I think you probably develop your morals the same way in a mixed amalgam, right? Like everybody does, like of culture, of traditions, of things that are handed down to you. They start developmentally, right? In your family of origin, and I think your family of origin is influenced by certain things, right? By cultural things. Some of those are religious for some people. Some of them are, there's sort of civic ethos and stuff like that. And I think, and I think also human experience, right? I think, most of us, we start morally by reception, right? We're cis and we kind of just, we take in, whatever our families of origin stuff tell us, and then we sort that out and sift that out through a complex nexus of...
So are you suggesting that morals can come from anywhere but God?
Look, I think if there is a God, right?
Oh, Scott.
Then God, then I guess all morality would, in some sense, if God gets the ball rolling, like indirectly or directly. No, I think morals, most Christians' morals don't come from God, right? I think most Christians aren't that shaped by the Bible. Most Christians aren't that shaped by the Christian tradition. Most Christians don't know anything about the Bible or the Christian tradition, right? So they're not. So in general, I don't think when people are thinking about morality, they're really thinking in Christians anyway, in deep ways about the Bible or anything like that. They're just not. most Christians I know, a lot of them don't know anything about that stuff, right?
Well, that's a pretty good answer.
Like, I'm on dating apps right now, John, right? I'm on dating apps. And some of these women, it's such a turn off if a woman says, I'm godly, or I want a godly man, whatever. But once in a while, I'll acknowledge, I'll just play around, I'll swipe, and I'll start talking to them. And I'm thinking, and I inevitably, they don't know anything about the Christian religion or the Bible, but they want a godly man. And I think, what the hell would you know? Like, what, does that mean someone that doesn't want to fuck you on the first or second date? I think is what I don't know what that means. I think it's meaningless when I interact with them. Hey, can I say something? Because well, first, can I say something, Scott? Sorry. Of course, buddy. But it's like, you know, what you just said is so true, right? Like, people will say, well, I want someone who's a lover of Jesus, right? Or someone who says, well, I want someone who follows Jesus, right? And then you'll say, well, you know, Jesus never really said follow me. Jesus always said follow the law and follow God, right? And so, but it's just this thing that someone heard someone say something, and because this person, they either viewed this person to be smarter than them or have more knowledge than them or wiser than them, as we grow up, like with parents and stuff like that, right? It's easier to adopt than to investigate. It's something like I first heard in college. It's the first I heard in college, and it has stuck with me all my life. It is easier to adopt than to investigate. And I think that's also part of like the human condition. I mean, we all walk around just for the most part picking up other people's ideas. Absolutely, of course. And most of us, especially in the age of specialization, we have no choice. Right? We can't all be free thinkers, and I think it matters what authorities you choose, right? Because we all have to believe things on authority, right? And so. I believe in climate change, and I think it's a real pressing problem. Why? Because I've run all the experiments myself. No, because I trust, a credentialing system of like 99% of all climate scientists, or 98% or something like that. Well, 98% of people that do this for a living say this is real and we're contributing to it, and it's a problem, right? And so, I mean, could the 2% be right? Yeah, I think it's unlikely. By the way, somebody said, Daryl, you said something about followers of Jesus and putting something in the chat. I was at a church service recently, and this a couple months ago, I wrote about this experience. I wrote an article about this, the homily in the very progressive church. And the homily was all about, are you a follower? Jesus wants followers, not just fans. He needs fun. And I said to somebody I knew in the congregation afterwards, I said, I'll tell you what, first off, giving Jesus pension for attacking the self-righteous. If I've got a choice, I'm going to say I'm just a fan, just to play it safe for my soul. And so, but then I basically wrote this long piece about how it's very interesting that outside of the Gospels, there's very little talk of following Jesus. And most of the time when there's talk about him, they were actually geographically following him. Like, he's going from Nazareth over to this place. And hey, if you want to come, join us. It's not, there's a reason that it's right. It's not really something that is elsewhere in the New Testament. So that in the chat.
No, they're like deadheads.
Exactly.
I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll wait.
Yeah, go ahead, Uncle Steve, of course.
I have a question for the theist. What aspects of your faith do you find most meaningful or impactful in your daily life today?
I think that's a really good question. I think the grace of God, I think that's very important to me. The fact that I'm not better than anybody, that we all get a lot of breaks, and I think that we're all works in progress, that everybody needs generous judgment. I tend to judge generously because I'm in need of generous judgment. I think all that stuff is important to me. I think universality. I think I just finished a great book called Universality and Identity Politics. I should have the author of my podcast. A great guy. And I find that Christianity has a sort of universal picture of hope and are important. They give me. I think it's a story that I find very compelling. The story that arises from Jesus and the Jesus event, I find quite compelling. So yeah, those things are important to me.
You know what David Brooks is to liberals, Scott, you are to atheists.
Oh, thanks. That's
So
very,
the
very
theist,
kind.
all atheists wish theists would be.
That's very kind. That's very, very. Although John says he wishes there were less theists lately because I might.
Well, I wish there were less David Brooks. I do actually wish there were fewer of them.
Christina, do you have a question? If your hand raised.
I do. I've noticed this pattern, and I'd like to know from the inside what the reasoning or thinking is. Many theists, at least on this platform anyway, seem to be offended by cuss words, but are not offended or bothered by non-cuss words being used for manipulation, lying, or gaslighting. And I'm curious, like, if you were to make a guess, because I'm guessing this is not something that you would ascribe to. So if you had to make a guess of why this is, like, why?
Why theists are have an aversion to profanity and yet not gaslighting?
Yeah, why is there such a prioritization of the cuss words over the harm that's done via lying, gaslighting?
I think so. I would go. Okay, so I don't know, right? I mean, but I'll say that my conjecture